United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I am your host, CPS Punisher, and this is CPS Victims Hunting for Justice. You know, there are over 10 million children that have been taken into custody and never brought home to their parents over the past 20 years. If you really do those numbers, now that's just the numbers of kids that have been taken into custody and never returned home. That's not mentioning the number of kids that have been harassed, that have been families that have been investigated, gone through the ringers, been scared to death that they were going to lose their kids. I mean, those numbers are upwards of 3-point-something million a year of investigations that fall through and they get unfounded. It's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that their lives are affected. There's a lot of fear that goes into these investigations that go on with CPS. And what you get out of it, as a parent and as going through this is nothing but heartache, loneliness, destructive mindsets. You just can't operate or function as a parent or a human being when they do this stuff to you. They belittle you to a level that you feel like you aren't even worth a damn in this world. They strip you of everything that you have, including your soul, your child. They make you feel like you're nothing and a nobody. Now, here's the thing. There's a bunch of people out there, just like myself, that are trying to make all of us feel better about ourselves and work towards a common goal, and that's getting rid of this nasty child protective services and get all of us back to feeling like normal human beings again. This is, make no mistake, there's nothing good that comes out of a child protective service investigation. There's nothing even good that happens even when the family's reunified, because the damage has been done to these children. So we're thankful for all these organizations that are out there and trying to make something of these times for all of us. That being said, I got my crew here. I got Melissa. How are you tonight, Melissa?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. And then, of course, we got Herbert, the law enforcement guru, right here, just in case we need some police stuff. We got Herbert. How are we doing tonight, Herbert?
Good. How you doing, Darren?
We're good. And our special guest tonight is a lady that is, well, she really doesn't need any introduction, but we're going to give her one anyway. But she has been working hard for years and years and years to try to get families she's trying to get families the justice that they deserve. This is Miss Wendy Thomas. Wendy,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, Wendy, I know that we heard the intro and everything, but do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and what your purpose is and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yes, I work for Barbara Stone. She used to be an attorney. She got her license for doing what we're doing now. It was the Netflix Corporation. She works for a nonprofit organization. I work through her. I am team captain recruit across the United States. We're trying to get a WIC together. It's called a WRIT. We're trying to get people signed up. We're trying to get a federal lawsuit across the United States. Right now, we have one against the federal government. We have 86,000 families. We are trying to, get the laws changed, get our children home. We are asking for some money from the government, but the way I look at it is I don't think we should be, concentrating on the money part of it. We should be concentrating on getting these kids home. I have helped a mother's been on a trafficking for 20 years. They're trying now to get her 4-year-old daughter out. Um, I have, right now I'm trying to put an autistic mother adult out of a very abusive situation. We try to do as much rescuing as we can. Um, we, we need a lot of people on this list. I cannot stress enough. People, you gotta sign up for this list. If I come into a group in Facebook or if I approach you, I am not a scam, I am not a hacker. We are trying to recruit people. The more people that we recruit, the more the government can't turn us away and they have to listen to us. These are our children. I've got people that won't get into this because they're afraid of the government or the Illuminati or Freemason. We don't have time to be afraid of these
Right.
people at all.
Right. Hey, Wendy, hold on 1 second. Wendy, it seems like we're getting, they're saying that we're having a little problem hearing you here. Can we get you a little bit louder by chance? Is there anything that we can do to bring your volume up? I mean, I can hear you, but you're just really low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a little, yeah, that's better right there. Let me just
I
make
had to
sure.
pull my hair up. I had to pull my
Oh,
hair
yes,
away.
there you go. Now you're sounding good.
Yeah, I
All
got
right.
so much hair.
Yeah, it muffles the earbuds. That's better. That's way better. So I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, but how many people do you have and have you helped? Like, what are the sheer numbers? Because I know you talked about numbers with me the other day. Like, what are the numbers that you guys are making a difference in things? Like, what are the numbers of families that you're reaching out to and you're impacting and things like that? Just you need to let everybody know the amount of people that you guys have.
The last I heard, and the last tally I had, we had 86,000 families on board.
Now that's doing something. That's making a difference.
That's between me and 5 advocates, and then some of the offset advocates that we are doing. I mean, it's every day. I mean, I've gotten like 15 people since I think last Friday. I mean,
Holy cow.
everybody's just coming in as the awareness gets out.
Right,
Everybody's starting to, and I'm starting to build a name for myself too. I'm starting to get people to trust me to where I can be able to go into these groups and say, hey, people that come, I'll say, check your emails. There was a new writ that come out, and I got people, well, what writ?
right,
And then that's how I'm recruiting everybody. Well, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. Yes, what we do is very dangerous. Yes, we can die. We have an advocate in hiding right now. She had to completely uproot herself. Her health isn't very good.
right.
She's fighting for her grandchildren because her son is autistic,
Yeah,
and he had a couple children, and the mother wasn't able to take care of the children. So he did, and then what Kim did is she came in as a guardian to be able to oversee. And Children's Services came in and ripped them out and said she was neglecting them, abusing them, and not feeding them. And it was just absolutely ridiculous. I've got an autistic mother right now. She's had 3 prior children and just another one now. She was stolen from her family
oh
and
my
then
God.
was passed through the system because, back in them days, nobody really knew that much about autism. She's 31, and she just kept getting passed and passed and passed. So the system that was put in place to help her, it has failed her. Now she's got 3 children. They're in custody. She's clear in another state. She's got another baby. She's in an abusive relationship. We're trying to get her out. This is the pattern that happens and happens and happens. Is the system, where's all this money going? This is what I want to know. you know,
Right.
it really aggravates me because these are our children. Why do you have to, Darren, I don't know if you'll allow me to really, really say what I have seen.
You know what, you go ahead and say whatever you got to say. We'll deal with the rest. What they say, you know what? But people need to know what is out there. Like we can't. Honestly, we can't keep sugarcoating this, saying that the kids are just being adopted and it's a nice family home, and it's not. Because it's not. It's not fair. We had a nurse yesterday that was on that. She was very clearly, visibly upset and hurt because of what she sees in the emergency rooms where she's at from abuse and neglect of these parents. Because when this stuff is real, it's real. And it's no joke. I'm not saying that CPS does. It's not saying that we need to not have one, but what they're doing to us is wrong. But the abuse and the things that you see and the families torn apart, I mean, it's a thankless job, but it's a thankful one, if you get what I mean. Like what you're doing and how you're educating and how you're getting out there and helping these people. But on the same hand, it's not like you're seeing good. You know what I mean? It's a tough day for you. All the way around.
Well, we have a 4-year-old little girl. Her name is Ivy, and I'm gonna put a name with her. Her, who she is. She was taken. Her mother was in sex trafficking for 20 years, and then she met the father and had this 4-year-old little girl. Well, she ended up with he was a drug addict, and he had gotten in some trouble and everything. So she had straightened up and she had left him. Well, when she had left him, she left the sex trafficking, and Children's Services came in, took Ivy, gave her back to her father, and then put the mother back into sex trafficking.
Oh my God!
Ivy gets Ivy's father sex trafficked her out 25 men in one day every Sunday.
Oh my God!
I have,
terrible.
and I'm probably gonna get a little let the glasses go up. I have a video on my phone of a little girl sitting there screaming, traumatized, because the Illuminati make her watch another child be torn apart and eaten and her blood be drank in front of these other children.
I mean, this it's brutal. It's terrible. It's unacceptable. And unfortunately, this has gone on for a long time. And why do people turn their heads to this? Why are they not showing more concern and more angst and more, why? I just don't understand why this movement can't get the legs that it needs to stop this stuff.
Because it's such a big money game to everybody. It's Satanism. Look at what all they're doing on TV. The thing that aggravates me the most is you're advertising plastic wounds. Them children don't get sold. Grow them children and sacrifice them children and leave these American children alone. You guys, I read a thing online that said children are resilient, and they go on. No, they're not. I have a boyfriend right now that is a victim of a father that was stolen from his parents, and he became an alcoholic and got PTSD and beat Joe so bad with pain when he was a little boy. He has a traumatic brain injury now. These children don't bounce back.
Right.
I'm sorry, Terrence.
No, don't be at all. I mean, this is stuff that we need to hear, and people need to hear this because, again, the severity of what's really going on and what is being shown and portrayed as going on are two different things. Number one, people don't realize that these children are actually being trafficked. Number two, people don't realize that CPS is the culprit at the head of the snake. And number three, everybody just turns their blind eye to it and they don't pay attention to any of it anyhow. So, you know what?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, just maybe with people can hear what the hell is going on and the reality of this and what is taking place, maybe that will be enough for someone to say, "Oh my gosh," and start doing their due diligence to help us out with our, what we're trying to do.
We have a system. There was a guy on the internet, and he works for this company that pays these people thousands and thousands of dollars to go down to Texas and pick up these children in white vans and then send them to their last demise. And then you never see these children again. What I want to know is, if you guys know a little bit about politics, Ted Cruz is supposed to be, I'm so this and I'm so that and I'm so this. Well, Mr. Ted Cruz, your signature is on them permits to sex trafficking children. Now answer me that.
Right.
Answer me why every time the government goes down there, Ted Cruz is missing. These are the things I pay
Right.
attention to. You know what they're
Right.
doing
You're
with
right.
them children, and they're taking them children that are coming in over the border, and they're doing the same thing to them. You know, they got wristbands on them, they got necklaces on them. You know, you got the Joe. Can you get me a Kleenex, please? You got the, you know, the cartel. Arizona's adopting out the pretty ones and taking them away from all these people that are homeless off the street, adopting out the pretty ones and what they call the ugly ones that get into the cartel for sex trafficking. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they're doing it up in New York. You guys see New York's all in an uproar. A Kleenex, please. A Kleenex. You know, New York's all in an uproar. And that's big sex trafficking through there. You know, down in on Florida and down in the Keys and everything. And it's just, you know, Ron DeSantis is so, you know, well, Disney this and Disney that. Well, we don't, you know, we understand what Disney is. Well, why aren't you doing anything about them drugs and them children that are coming through there? That's what I want to know. You know, Mike DeWine. I've been on Mike DeWine for 7 years now. My kid's been gone. I was in the hospital fighting for my life for 3 years. I almost died. You know, and I never seen my kids while I was in the hospital. I never seen them while I was in the nursing home. I come home to my mother's house to heal. All of a sudden, she's trying to have a court date behind my back, and so the services come in and do a home visit. You know why? No, that's breaking the law right there. And you break a lot of constitutional rights. I called Derek Marin. This is another thing. Derek Marin, you're a pedophile. How dare you stand next to President Trump? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're a pedophile. I went to you for help, and you didn't do nothing. Ted Cruz, you're a pedophile. You did nothing. Why does nobody have jurisdiction over these children's services, but they're put in play? The governor does. Governor DeWine knows every little bit. Do you know they brought 3,000 immigrants into the Toledo, Ohio area and put them up in the O'Connell Lodge and gave them all of our COVID funding? And there was people homeless and couldn't even get their rent paid. Yes. I fought them.
We're having that same problem here in Maine.
And Marcy Kaplan knows. Yeah, Marcy Kaplan knows what's going on. You know.
Yeah, they just had to close schools up in New York.
I just seen that.
So that they could let the immigrants move into the schools so that they didn't get cold.
I just don't really understand it.
I mean, in Maine, they're doing the same thing. In Maine, they kicked them all out. There's a bunch of hotels around the airports, and last year it was open to the homeless community and everything. They were taken in during the winter, and this year, for whatever reasons, they opted out of helping the homeless at this point in time. And maybe down the road they'll get into something else, but there's no place for anybody that is living the streets in Portland to go now, because they brought in these immigrants from these other countries. And I'm not saying that I'm against immigrants coming in or anything, absolutely not. But you know what? When we can't have a bed for an American here, especially these soldiers that have gone over and fought for our rights and all this, and they can't have a bed to sleep in because they're too messed up and mentally unfit, and they don't have a room in it. It's just unacceptable. We're not doing these things right. There's nothing being done right at all.
I'm a military child, so I see a lot of that devastation when they came home from being hurt. My father is dying from Agent Orange from Nam, and he had PTSD real bad. He was very, very mentally abusive towards us growing up. All his brothers, they were in the Marines. They all got PTSD. I mean, Desert Shield really screwed these people up. I mean, I can't even get half my cousins to talk about Desert Shield. You know, they're out on the street doing drugs, heroin addicts. You know, government don't care about that.
And can you blame them, though? I mean, really, can you blame them? And I'm not saying that I'm an advocate for people using drugs. Don't get me wrong. Don't even put those words in my mouth. But like these people that have been slipped through the cracks, as they would say, or whatever. Well, they all turned into crack now because you know what? They felt like they are so worthless. And these little bit of tools, you know, like that, you know, could help these people, and they're not getting them. You know,
I
just a
have
little bit goes such a long way.
I
Well,
have
Darren, the
seen some.
family, that family I'm working with out of Maine, the
Yeah.
daughter
Yeah.
was 16 years old when she had her first kid. The department stepped in because she smoked weed. This was 15 years ago. The department stepped
Wow.
in, took her kid, forced her into a voluntary termination at the age of 16. She ended up turning to heavy street drugs because she was so upset and hurt over the termination of her kids. And now, fast forward 15 years, they're arguing that because she has that history from 15 years ago, even though they're not using the termination against her because it was voluntary,
Mm.
they're using the argument of the drug history.
Yeah, hold on. I got it. You just can't hear me really good when my hair goes over the speaker. Yeah, we got mothers killing themselves. We just had another one last week.
Mm.
It's just
One
ridiculous,
of
you
my good
know.
friends killed himself about 2 months ago now because his wife had committed suicide over a year ago, and the department stepped in to help the family through the grieving process. No, what they did is they turned around, they stole his 5 daughters, held him in jail for 6 months, let him out, and then told him they'd make sure he never seen his kids again, so he blew his brains out.
Are you seeing any? Are you seeing these numbers collapse at all, or are they just all gaining in momentum for the CPS side?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Wendy. Like, are you seeing any? Are you seeing, because supposedly they're adding more caseworkers, they're doing this, they're doing that. Are you
They are
seeing a
not good.
decline?
Okay, you want to tell me? You want to let me? I'm going to tell you. This really
Yep.
angers me. We've got CPS workers working in there that doesn't even have a college degree. Did you know that? We've got CPS workers in there that just go in and take a test and get a background check
Wow.
just for a job.
Wow.
Why are these people not properly educated? You've got special needs children. You've got
Right.
ADHD children. You've got sexually abused children. You know, only 8%, I think it's like 8% of children get removed out of children's services for a reason. The rest of it's all money. All money.
My
Well, I'm
worker, I
sorry to
think,
tell you.
20 years old.
Mm. What was that,
Well,
Melissa?
I'm here to let you guys know right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My worker's like 20 years old,
Yeah.
and they openly state the fact that my children were removed with absolutely no allegations of abuse nor
Yeah.
neglect.
I never had a CPS case ever in my life. And they're telling me I'm neglecting my kids while I'm in the hospital fighting for my life. Because my mother's getting like $2,500 a month for my children between child support and Social Security. And Children's Services is like, oh, okay, well, we can show you how to do it so they can make money. They jump right in on that. And then I walk in there and it's the same judge that emancipated me from my mother when I was 16 years old because my mother was beating the snot out of me. And they went and gave this woman my children.
Jesus Christ.
And now I have a disabled daughter who sits at a kitchen table and is not getting any kind of extra interference other than the school that she goes to. I haven't talked to my 17-year-old since Mother's Day in 2021. She hates me and I've never done anything. I've never been on drugs, never been an alcoholic, never partied, nothing like that. I was doing the mom thing. I went out to the hospital, let my mom, take care of the girls. I come back, my apartment's empty. I went from a $300,000 house down to an apartment because I lost my knees and I got sick. So I had stuff in storage and I had a full apartment. When I went into the hospital, I was in there for 3 years. I come home, my apartment's gone, everything in my house is gone. I had a lift chair, a futon, and a 19-inch television. And my kids were gone. So I've made everybody in Swanton, Ohio very miserable since then.
I love that. What is one of your highlighted? What's one of your most memorable so far? Like, what's one that you're like, man, we really just hammered the hell out of them. We got this one good.
When we started removing attorneys and the Michigan Attorney General got in and started indicting CPS workers for adopting children out for money and their parents adopting them for money. There was a lawyer in Columbus that got his bar license stripped. We got a Swanton police officer removed of the police force. He was a chief. Um, I think that, did you ever look for that butler in Texas to find out where that was?
What's that?
Yeah.
Say that again? You broke up there.
That butler.
Yep. The butler.
Yeah, we got charges out there in
Wow.
Texas. Yeah. They're starting to listen. They're starting to listen. And the
But
government's getting scared. Now us advocates are starting to have problems with the government and Facebook and stuff.
right, they're censoring us. They're knocking our things down. For instance, like we don't get any views on this show. They say, like so you can never trust what the numbers are with this. Like it'll say 0 views tonight, 0 views tomorrow. But yeah, we know 10 people are watching for a fact.
You'll get views tonight. We put you on Getter and Truth Social. Truth's website.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
We got
So
you.
I mean, they're trying to beat us down in all aspects. That way that we can't form up because they know that there's so many of us that if we could just collect all powers that be, I mean, we could be a force. We could control not only this election but this country if we had to.
That's what we need to do. See, a lot of these people nowadays, they've been programmed.
Right.
Like Joe's younger sister, the government wouldn't do that. The government ain't supposed to do that.
Right, as they're doing it right in front of us.
Right. Your president's not a pedophile, but he's sniffing children on stage in front of the whole United States. Are you that ignorant?
Right.
Are you that ignorant? You think that that's okay? Now he's allowing, and I am no, by any chance, am I prejudiced? If you're gay, you're gay, that's gay you. But I don't want nobody to tell my child that it's okay to be gay. That's for me to do.
Of course.
And what these schools, it's the way I look at it, it's my job to screw up my child, not society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's to the point that when I do get my girls back, Abby will still be in school. She won't be attending public school anymore. She won't. I'm sorry. I have a big problem with somebody dressed up as a woman to go teach my child or read to my child. I'm very sorry. And I'm not judging. It's our job to love, and it's God's job to judge. But these are my children, and I have a say for my children. If this country is absolutely. What happened to our country? What happened? We can't let our kids go outside anymore. We can't. We can't do nothing. Nothing. We have to take back this country. This is ridiculous. We run this country, not the government. We do. And you have to understand, you don't, with the stuff with children's services, you don't have to let children's services in your house. Do not let them in your house at all.
Right.
You don't have to sign your rights away. And I'm telling everybody right now, the children that have, or the people who have lost custody of their children, and the people the children have been adopted out, you still have rights to your children. You are the biological parent. This was done illegally. You have every right to go up in them homes where them children are and get your children. But the only problem is you'll get in trouble when we don't have the police department and the courts to back us up. But technically, we can do that. We could even all go post up in the White House right now if we wanted to. We own that White House. As people are not educated, they're not aware. We have to get this awareness out. This is not okay. This is not okay at all. And there's no time to be scared. You better be able to walk through Satan himself for your children. And I don't care what happens to you in the process. These are your babies. Get off your butts and help me get your children.
Yep.
We need to get this done. I'm tired of the women in these groups not signing up for this lawsuit, and they just whine and cry. Why are you whining and crying and not getting involved? then
Mm-hmm.
that makes us second guess as advocates why you really got your children taken away, and we're not going to offer any help because you're not offering it to get any help. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
I agree with 1,000%. You know, you'd be a lot more further if the people that were. See, the problem is, and I have this problem, is everybody's so gung ho to help you out at the beginning. You know, like, let's go, we're going to take on the world. January 6th, insurrection, here we come. You know, all this stuff. But a month goes by, 2 months goes by, and these people are gone.
Well, let me tell you something about that. A lot of the problem is when we get these advocacies going, and when we get these nonprofit organizations going. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. We just lost you for a second. Yep,
Yeah, I don't know
you're
why
here.
that happened. Okay, I forgot what I was talking about.
That was weird. Yeah, this them. Melissa, they do this to us all the time, don't they, when we're talking?
Is that
Oh
what who it
yes,
is?
all the time.
All the time they'll shut us down.
They got my phone hacked.
It's
They got
crazy.
my phone on my Google. My iCloud tells me I have an iPhone. It's
Oh, really?
ridiculous. They're in my phone. Oh yeah,
Wow.
they watch everything I do. When I post, you'll have like a little thing up in the top, like when you're having trouble posting, but mine will be up there so they look at it before they even let me post it.
Right?
That's how bad it is. Because I hate Mark Zuckerberg. I,
Right?
I really do. I don't care what he says or thinks. I'm going to post when I want to post. I get in trouble all the time, people. So if you don't see me online, I usually get like 90 days or 60 days.
Right?
I'll grab stuff off Getter and I'll grab stuff off YouTube and I'll start posting it and they get so mad.
Yeah.
Well, it's the truth. I don't post nothing beneath the truth. But I can
Right.
open up, I can go into a group and see somebody with a nice, pretty peach butt with a pair of red panties, and that's okay. But I can't post how I feel. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't get it. They take it. I've got people that send me posts. I've got people that send me emails, and we just keep passing them now. Every time they keep taking them down, we just keep passing them, Darren. We just
Okay.
keep passing them on. And sooner or later, we get them posted. We
Right.
found a way
Right.
around it, you know?
Right. Someone's got to do something somewhere. Right.
Right.
It's only a
We
matter of
do.
time. It's only a matter of time. Yep. That's a great way
Yeah,
of
yeah,
looking
but
at
we
it.
are getting a lot more awareness is getting out. We just had the education director from the Pentagon. He got taken down. Did you guys hear about that? You guys know about the education director in the Pentagon that got taken down for
Mm.
sex trafficking children? The top educator at the Pentagon is now in prison for sex trafficking children.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, they just busted a huge ring there in Ohio with gym teachers, principals,
Yep.
nurses, social workers.
Yep. Yes, it's bad. It's really, really bad. Yep, especially in Ohio.
Oh,
Ohio is Ohio
so
is one of the top 3 corrupt Democratic states. We got all types of corruption out here in these farms.
neglect with children. Tell
Yeah.
me that that's not aiming at corruption there. You're telling me that this state where we have less of a population and all of these numbers, you know, like are far less than anywhere else, but yet we have the highest rate of abuse and neglect. But what's funny is the budget keeps getting more balanced and more balanced and more balanced.
It's easier to do it through smaller communities because it's not noticed.
Mm.
You get it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have a lot of your Freemasons in small farming
Mm.
Democratic towns. And in Delta, Wauseon, Archibald, Defiance, all of our lawyers, judges, police officers, anybody in any kind of government is all Freemason down there. All of it.
Wow.
It's yeah, and that's how they're getting these children. That's how they're taking them out. They can take them out in these smaller communities because it's less noticed.
Mm.
You can take out a higher amount of children. It's less noticed. I met a woman at Toledo Express Airport Hotel over at is it the Windenham? They're called the Windenham over there by the airport. I found out that we have a Illuminati ground right around the corner from where I grew up,
What?
and I never. Yep, it's in a triangle. What road? Garden Road. Did she say Garden Road? It was at
Right.
Garden Road, she said. Garden Road off of Airport Highway in Swanton, Ohio, right there, right before the overpass. If you take a left right there where Chateau Estates is, if you go down, you'll see it. It's in a perfect triangle. Yep. They were
That's
taking
Yeah,
they
I
were taking
actually know where
immigrants
that's
out.
at because I used to live in Toledo,
Yes,
and
you know what I'm talking about.
and my daughter actually went to a Christian academy there in Toledo,
Okay.
wow.
and I was out in Swanton all the time.
I grew up in Swanton. Yep.
This is
It's
just
easier
this
to
is just it's so much to absorb, and it seems like the more you go and you investigate this stuff, and you're just trying to find out the truth about if A and B equals C, and then you just stumble into more truths and more things that are, it almost gets to the point where you're like, is this Looney Tune world? This can't be happening. This is crazy. Like how does all of this continue to function?
You guys
Well,
need to understand. Go
Darren,
ahead.
the other thing you have to realize is if you guys look and you actually research the case law, there is hundreds of cases in every state where they proved beyond reasonable doubt that the department has used lies and deception to win their cases.
Right.
Yeah, they said I was neglecting my children. I was fighting for my life. Yeah, ridiculous. Never had a CPS case. They just came in and took them. Okay, not on my
Well,
watch.
my case is due to the fact that I asked for my daughter to get services through the court. We put her on probation because she was acting out, chasing adult men, trying to do drugs. So we put her on probation to actually try to straighten her out. And she turned around and the state came in and said that because my daughter acts out because of things that occurred at her dad's house, that was grounds to take my younger children. And the judge has refused to hold court for 2 years now. So now we're actually going in front of the circuit judge.
Well, if there's a protocol that they have to go through, they're supposed to exhaust all means before they take the children out of the home when they get a call.
No, they said that they did not have to make reasonable effort, and they've also never deemed my kids dependent. My daughter is turning 2 this year. My son is 4, and they have never been deemed dependent. There's only ever been a shelter order. Shelter orders expire after 6 months. Everyone's just paying no attention to it because the original judge said straightforward, I will never hold court again until an 18-year-old returns back to Alabama and submits to the jurisdiction of the judge.
Who's your judge?
His name was Judge Hyde. Judge Clint Hyde. Now, here's the thing. For 15 years prior to being the judge, he was the department's attorney here in our county. So he went straight from representing them to sitting as a judge for them. He was appointed by the governor, not elected.
Jesus Christ.
Toledo, Ohio, they've been investigated so many times for sex trafficking children. I mean, they'll bust them and then they'll act like Children's Services didn't even know this was going on, but the children came from Children's Services care. We've got 1,500 children missing out of CPS's care in Missouri. We've got 1,100 missing out of Illinois care. Where are these kids going? I have seen old warehouses just with piles of children, dead carcasses, with organs gone, and they just drop them off in these, and then they have these.
Yeah. There was a video I stumbled across the other day. It showed a storage container that they went to repossess,
Yeah.
and the storage container actually had 32,000 baby carcasses
Oh.
in it that were missing organs, heads, legs, limbs, and it was all
Mhm.
kids that had been essentially taken from a birth or shortly after. And this organization was actually organ harvesting from them. And the cargo container was found out in California.
Toledo's doing the same thing right there off the barge. And I'm
Well, hey,
calling you out.
Darren,
Yes, ma'am.
didn't you say you think the place right behind you is doing organ harvesting?
Yeah, well, Maine has a ton of invested things involved in the organ harvesting through the funeral homes and everything. And we just happen to have a railroad that goes right up behind our yard, and like a lot of strange things are happening. With tunnels and with railroads and systems. I mean, they're trafficking this stuff somehow, and like they're moving this stuff, and the volumes are so sheer that they're not doing it by a car. They're traveling this stuff somehow in some way. We just need to figure out how. And I do believe it that this railroad system that we have right up behind our place is involved in one way or the other. You have railroad trains that go through the night that aren't supposed to be there. There's only supposed to be 5 trains a day, yet there's 13 of them. But if you look at the lines that they draw, for the human trafficking runs that they have, when they come up through the Northeast, they kind of spit off in Pennsylvania, and then they come up this way. And I'm pretty convinced it's done by railroad. So I mean, it's the real deal. It's not a joke. It's not. People sit there and they're like, oh, okay, maybe. Well, why is all of these things happening? Why is all this damage being done to properties? Why is all this? If this isn't real, then no one has time to sit around and play this game. It's definitely real.
It's very, very devastating health-wise to the
Mm-hmm.
families too. I just got out of the hospital. I stressed myself out over trying to get all these families so bad I ended up with MRSA that come out of the front of my face. And it was
Mm-hmm.
all up in my sinus area, almost into my brain. And the
Mm-hmm.
doctors come in and they're like, Wendy, we can't, my heart, I have to take a heart now. They're like, there's nothing wrong with your heart. There's nothing wrong. Your numbers are fine. And then I told him what was going on to my children, and he says, that's what's happening. Because I call active MRSA the first time around, I always carry it, it's always active, that when I get stressed out real bad,
There we
then
go.
my
Woo.
body protects itself, and I'm still recovering from that. And I wasn't supposed to come back, but I did, guys. I come back early. I couldn't stand not knowing what was going on and recruiting anybody, so
Right.
I had
Well,
to get
thank you
back
for
to
that.
work. I couldn't handle it. I just really couldn't. It's just, so hard to, people don't understand us as advocates. Every time we write down somebody's name or case number, we're reliving what happened to us.
Yep.
So it's a little bit more stressful on us, and I'm not saying that, I'm not comparing or anything. It's just, they don't, we need help, everybody. We
Yeah,
need help.
we do.
My, put my email address down there, Darren. Tell them if
Yep.
they want to
I
get on
get
the
that on the bottom here.
yeah, they want help, email me. I'm available all the time. I also life coach on top of it. You guys, I understand what you're going through. We're all a family. We all need to stick together. We are all part of this. None of us is individual out of this.
Right.
And it's going to take all of us to stand together. And you people can't be afraid. There's enough tough ones of us to walk through the people that need to be walked through for the people who can't, be tough.
Right.
Is the way I look
Exactly.
at it.
Wendy, do you want me to do you want me to post up your email, the one that you gave me, the one I emailed you at? Okay.
That is my business address. That is my business address. Everything for the Rick goes
Hey,
there.
Wendy,
Everything.
are you familiar with National Action Network?
I am not.
Okay. It's one of the big organizations that I've been advocating with. They're in, I believe, 38 states.
Okay.
And we're working on trying to put together a certified training program so that we can start training more advocates on a national level.
I want to get real into it. I want to start learning more of the, I want to get more in depth with it, kind of like a paralegal type thing. I want to start learning the law and get more certified in things so I can start doing more and helping people out. I want to get into a courtroom setting.
Hey, does Darren have your number?
My phone number?
Yeah.
Do you have my phone number, Darren?
I don't think I do. All I have is your email address.
Well, I'd love to have a way to text you. I guess I got some really cool stuff I could send you.
You're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, but I don't really use it.
Okay. I'll grab my email address from Darren and then email me and then I'll send you my phone number.
Okay, yeah. Because I've got some really good training programs that I've been finding that are free. And between Darren, me, and all the people we know, we all need to work together. I mean, it's about one big organization against one big organization. One of the families that I'm helping with, the children have been in the system for 6 years. They have been tied up, raped, beaten, abused, starved, looked like little Ethiopian kids, and they haven't even allowed the parents to be party to the hearings. And that's one of the many families that I'm working with. There's another family that just because the guy's aunt died and she was a guardian, a voluntary guardian, because he had an issue to where he needed a guardian, he turned around and when she passed away, they just walked in and took the kid. No acknowledgement of the fact that the law allowed the voluntary guardianship to end at her passing. The state just walked in and took the kid, didn't give him a 72-hour hearing, stomped all over his rights. I wrote him a motion arguing the 72-hour rule for Tennessee, and they literally, the judge just laughed at it because he's not an attorney. He's a private person fighting for his kid.
Yeah, the guardianship should have ended. That's what I'm going through right now. My mother has locked me out of the girls' life on only a guardianship. So
right.
She just terminated the guardianship. I'm fighting that right now. I'm fighting with the attorneys that took my money for it. I sold my brand new wheelchair ramp that the state bought me. I hired him, and he took my money, and he keeps screwing me around. So I turned his ass to the bar. I'm not playing. So they called me up and he said, we want to fix this, but then I talked to him today and now he's blowing me off again. So we're going to have to threaten him a little more. We got a new version of the rig out. So I got to get that all emailed out and taken care of and tell people how to put that on there. We just need to keep recruiting. I'm so frustrated. I really am. I really am. My dad and my mom always taught me that we're supposed to believe in the system. And we're supposed to trust the system. As a military kid, that's what we're taught. And it's not nothing like my father said it was, The world isn't nothing like we're raised up to be. The American dream isn't the American dream. We've got people homeless. We've got servicemen homeless. We've got children being stolen. We got people being raped, children being raped. When is it going to stop? When is everybody just going to finally say, okay, let's bond together and do this? Now the children are gone. And then a lot of people, they keep getting into these court things and keep filing these appeals and they're not doing, any good and they won't get involved with the writ and
what can be done by the normal everyday person that doesn't have a million hours a week to donate their time, but what can someone that wants to do something minute and just something to tip their hat into the idea and and fight for this cause. What's some ideas or concepts you have for that?
Just get involved. Start doing some
Okay.
research. Start putting pressure on all these senators and these governors and telling them you need to stop doing this. It's
Right.
absolutely ridiculous. It's got to be a group effort. I mean, we
Right.
are doing progress, and it is slow. But there's so many that need to be taken down, and there's not a lot of us to be able to take them down. We need everybody involved. I can tell you how to work through it. I can tell you, how they always say intimidation is what, 90% and it's 10% physical. So let's use that. Let's use that, that 90% intimidation. Let's get on this, let's get these emails out. I can tell you how to use it. We're trying to, and we're trying to hold off as these writs are coming out because we're having the people, so it keeps getting updated. But once this writ is exhausted and we start handing out indictments, we're going to need everybody's help. We're going to need everybody's help because there's a lot of people that are in high places that are going to have to go down, and it's not going to be pretty. Us advocates will probably have to go in hiding once we start taking out the big people. We got to take out the big people. We got to go to the big people. I even thought about going to the big people. I'm not scared. I want to go talk to the Illuminati. I want to go talk to the Freemasons. I want to find out why they find it necessary to take our children and do what they're doing. After Hawaii burnt, they found tunnels that goes 300 feet down in, and it goes across into America, or back up in the United States. And it's just, and they were wondering why all these children were disappearing because they were an island.
Yeah.
And then they burnt everything in Hawaii, and then I've got all these families going, oh my God, we did this, we did that. You are not going to believe the amount of families I have from Hawaii over this. They took their children. They burnt everything, and they took their children. And the ones they couldn't steal, they killed. And that doesn't anger anybody. What if that was your child? You have to look at it. Maybe you didn't get your child. But you need to think about, well, what would I do if it happened to me? They try to make us crazy. They try to isolate us because we are. We're mothers. We're like a wild mama bear. You take our cubs, and we're going to come for revenge.
Yes, thank you. That's what I've been saying for so long. I'm like, we're letting these people in the wild. A chickadee will peck you to death, for God's sakes. They don't let you come and take your young. You need to be like, learn from the wild. Please. Look what they do when you come and they defend the kids. Like what? They're just insanity. That we just allow as human beings, people just to come and take our kids, and then we get upset with them. I'm going to bring Herbert in here for a minute, see what Herbert has to say about listening to all of this for tonight. Here, Herbert, I know you were there listening, buddy. What'd you think? Hello? Herbert? Let me see here. Sorry about this. See? Herbert? There you go. There you are. Yeah, what did you think? What do you think about all this?
I couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, it's a lot to consume. It's a lot of information to listen to.
No, I'm saying I was not able to clearly hear our guest.
Oh, Jesus, we just lost Herbert there. Son of a bitch. Where did Herbert go?
They've been messing with, I don't know what they're doing up there.
Right.
Remember when all the phones went crazy? They put a program in our phones. That's why you guys noticed we had an update, and then all of a sudden we had another update. They're putting stuff on our phones. They're trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to click this thing back, and it's not even letting me do it. It's crazy. It's absolutely insanity. I mean, this stuff is real.
It is.
And people want to say that like, oh, you're crazy. This isn't happening. All of these things, but it is happening. It is real. The trafficking is happening. The body part harvesting is happening. The adrenochrome is happening. The kidnappings are happening. Their gang stalking is happening. All of these things are happening. These people are not crazy. So when you hear, a parent telling you and crying out to their story, take a second and listen to them for a minute. And even though it sounds absurd, know this: they're probably not lying to you. Like who wants to make up these type of stories?
guys have to remember that you have the instinctive right to protect your young. So all the families out there, remember that you have the instinctive right to protect your young.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it. I'm crazy. I'm telling you, they mess with the wrong mom when they mess with me. I don't care who I have to watch for. I
Right.
don't. I'm not. You took my babies away from me. That was the only thing I had. And you're not going to do it. I'm going to get them back.
Right.
And I'm going to take everybody down right along with me. My children may not be getting sex trafficking, but my children are a part of it.
Right.
And I know what's going on. And even, and I'm not going to be one of these moms. I promise everybody that's listening to this, I'm not going to be one of these moms that when I get my kids back, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to do it. I am going to do this for boy. And I've got a settlement that I'm trying to get right now for my leg. I've been waiting for it for a long time. But I'm going to promise everybody right now, if I ever get that settlement before the crap goes down in this country, I will put every dime into this. Every dime.
Wow.
I'm going to get this. I am so angry. I'm so mad. If I had the means, you guys would probably see me missing on TV because I'd go right through that Illuminati. Right through them. Right through them. You got the Vanderbilts doing it. They got this big, huge house. You guys ever see the Vanderbilts house?
Mm-hmm.
It is big, and then if you walk down into this corridor, they have like this big, huge area. It's like almost as big as like an inside pool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got grandstands all around it. And then down in where the pool area would be in like the pit area, in each of the walls, they have places where they tie these children up.
Yeah.
And they tie them backwards so they're facing the wall. And they sodomize these children and they rape these children. You ever hear about the Red Shoe Club?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I just heard it the other day.
Yeah, I just told you about it the other day. Heather O'Rourke didn't die of pneumonia, people. They tortured her, tore her backstraps off her back, and made wet leather shoes out of them. David Bowie, Elvis Presley, all of them. All of them. And they go down in there, and they even suck the blood out of these children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That adrenochrome, that's real. That's real business.
Yeah. Did you guys ever wonder why Sandra Bullock don't have a wrinkle on her face?
Right. Why the Queen of England stayed alive so long?
Yeah, did you ever notice that over there they have tons of orphanages and then children, I can't say it really because of my hillbilly, pardon me, but they feed off them children in the orphanages. There's thousands of children that go missing in the orphanages over in Britain every day. Every day. The Queen lived so long because she ate red meat. She ate human meat.
Right. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Well, Melanie, Melanie, Jesus, that was a nurse from last night. Wendy, we're at our 1 hour time and it just flew by. I want you to come back because I want to talk more about this. We got a lot more that we can conversate on, that's for sure. There's a lot more knowledge that I want to gain from you because there's a lot, and we need to get this information. I feel like this is the stuff that needs to get out there because this is where people need to realize this is going, that it's not just little Johnny got taken from their mommy and they're over here at Betty Sue's house being watched. No, they're being taken away. They're being murdered. They're being, and it's just a terrible thing. And we need to bring notice to all of that. Melissa, do you have anything you want to say to Wendy before we go?
No, just keep up a good fight. That's all you can do. Do your best. Angels can do no more.
Yeah, I want to hook up with you. I want some of them training videos and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make sure that I get you guys each other's contact information after the show too.
Honestly, Wendy, if you hey Wendy, if you have a phone or something to where you can write it down, I'll just give you my number because my number's all over the internet anyways. And
it's mine. So I didn't know if Derek was okay with that. Yeah, I don't care.
Whatever you guys got to do, it's fine by me.
My number is 419.
Hold on.
Well, Jesus, Melissa, you ask her a question and you're not even ready for it.
It's okay.
419.
It's 388.
Yep.
01. 0179. And if anybody listening, write that down. My email address will be down here. You guys need any help, you let me know.
Yeah, and
All
my
right.
number is 251. See, she wasn't ready either.
No, I wasn't. 251.
727
Okay.
0402.
And I need your name again because I'm really horrible with names.
Melissa.
I have a lot of people I know. I got 86,000 families. Okay.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh yeah, if anybody wants to get you on Facebook or whatever, how do they find you?
I have a group called Fulton County Corrupt Juvenile Courts and CPS. I have a Lucas County Toledo, Ohio group. We have an All Corrupt group. I'm Wendy Thomas on Facebook. I'm the one with Abby sitting to my left, the little pink ears. Just hit my Facebook up. That's the only thing I can give right now. I mean, do you have anybody that needs to get a hold of me?
All
Thanks
right.
for having me here. It's felt real good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Wendy, and we will be in touch very soon. We definitely need to do this again sooner than later. So I look forward to talking to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Wendy.
Have a great night, Darren.
You too, Melissa. Thank you for joining me. That was really some shit right there, huh?
Yeah. You know, it's hard to find good advocates that are in it for the long haul, not just someone for some quick fame. And the fact that, like she said, even after she gets her kids back, she's going to keep plugging away till the end.
Right.
And that's what it takes. I mean, I've been working in it for now over 10 years, but now I've made that the focus of what I do. I put everything else to the back burner because I'm sick of the corruption.
And as we all are, you know, and we all just need to stick together and keep fighting. That's what we got to do. You know, that's just what we got to do.
Yep.
All right, Melissa. Well, thank you again for joining us. I don't know what happened to Herbert. I think we lost. I think he had a bad connection tonight or something, but we lost him.
Actually, I don't know if you was picking it up. There was a whole lot of interference with Wendy's connection.
Yeah, I heard that
too. And then my connection kept trying to break connection. Luckily, I'm running off of a dual network.
Right. Well, I noticed here
two different cell towers.
Yeah, here they kicked us off a couple of times.
Right. So
we were getting
I think they're getting mad at us. We're doing things right.
Yeah, we're getting the message across. All right, Melissa. Well, thank you so much.
Yep. Good night,
Bye-bye.
Darren.
You too. All right, people. You saw it. You heard it. This stuff's terrible. I'm sorry that you had to be listening to that stuff tonight, but that's the reality of what's going on, and all of us that fight every day to save these kids and trust guys that are dealing with CPS in their life, or they're fighting CPS because they really see a lot more than they should. See you all tomorrow. I'm CPS Punisher. I'm out of here. Thank you, Kitty. Have a good night, everybody.